watching AYV Television.
Now from our broadcasting house here on Wesley Street in Sierra Leone's capital, Freetown, this is Primetime News on AYV TV and radio. You're watching us on Channel 33 and this is our maiden edition on DSTV Channel 399 and listening to us on frequency modulation 11.7. Let's start with tonight's headlines. AYV examines whether fuel price reduction is easing the cost of living for Sierra Leoneans.
If you feel we don't count to 27 to 25,000 price, they need for calm down, especially transportation business need for calm down. But like, according to how they feel this, we are nothing say price for calm down.
Tombo Park market traders raise alarm over blocked drainage and poor waste disposal.
The last time all rain came, the water flood over, so all people are not able to set. People are not able to set for park.
Fans express frustration as National Stadium main bowl remains incomplete 4 years on despite partial handover.
For them to make the practice field, the main bowl na in there for the focus part. You understand? Because very important.
Hello and welcome from wherever you are joining me tonight. I am Marina Terry, first in the news. Now, fuel prices are more than numbers displayed at the pump. Around the world, movements in crude oil prices ripple through national economies, influencing inflation, transport, and the cost of living. In Sierra Leone, where thousands of families already face economic pressure, the government has announced a reduction in pump price, quoting petrol by 2 new leones to 33 new leones per litre and diesel by 5 new leones to 35 new leones per litre, following a review with oil marketing companies. Now, the decision comes after international oil eased in recent weeks, although many citizens and labor groups argue that the decline at the pumps falls short of the drop seen on global markets. They are equally demanding a further reduction, but government says the adjustment reflects international trends and that Sierra Leone's 12.5% reduction in diesel price is among the largest in the sub-region, while also promising continued reviews as global prices evolve. Our business reporter, Mariama Tomi, went to parts of Freetown to find out whether the reduction is translating into real relief for ordinary Sierra Leoneans. This is what she found.
Every liter of fuel carries more than energy. It carries livelihoods. It powers taxis and motorcycles. It moves food from farms to markets. It keeps generators running where electricity falters. When fuel prices rise, the burden travels silently through the economy until it reaches every household. Across Freetown, the announcement was received with cautious optimism.
Fuel prices are down, 2 leones of petrol and 5 leones of diesel. But what does that really mean for businesses? We're on the streets to hear directly from those feeling the impact.
Commercial drivers, Okada riders and keke operators welcomed the reduction but questioned whether it was enough to ease the pressures they have endured for months.
If you feel we don't count to 27 to 25,000 price, they need for calm down, especially transportation business need for calm down. But like, according to how they feel this, we are not saying say price for calm down. Because if you let me assume say to this my bike at the burn 7 litre for day. So if I check that money they what they buy 33 leones every day 7 litre for day. I don't feel say to me own side, to me own opinion price for calm down per fuel per passenger business again. I think say left so because like we bike riders them where they ride that song no get fixed price. We go any side. We can go some side police all we now from that money they back we pull and pay. We go and see they see these tickets, we they buy these 20 leones, we they buy these 5 leones. So all that the costing inside the money where we work
2 leones for the pool. I mean that's to me. Because sometimes we can go buy fuel, we they left the 2 leones. So maybe they expect see like when the fuel don't go 35, they will cut out for we if the 5 leones they save the pool and they left the 30. So because like people like the way we say they need to afford for the day, like how we they will afford.
Market traders and small business owners are also watching closely. Yet, many remain skeptical, noting that prices often rise quickly when fuel becomes more expensive, but are slower to fall when costs ease.
It's at the same price. How the price they don't add up, then we don't add the price, then at the same way the price they not reduce, no nothing.
For me, no mean so because everything they up, nothing no can down it. Now where it can down, now go say they don't pull. Guys now no it say they don't pull.
Because this fuel when they this and so we not see them put nothing down. Don't if what they take the transport, but right, they add 2,000 say they add the transport. Now part of the this and so and they when you go and say they this, they say no, na part 2,000 and they this, so they not go for. Then they put the price down. So then see them pass them put the fuel down. So how then go able forget so they go able to get this. So for now they strain. Right, so the oil don't go up, beans, everything go they use so the market say don't go up. So need the government for me help on that.
Internationally, all markets have experienced renewed volatility this year, driven by geopolitical tension before easing as supply concerns softened. Brent crude retreated from its recent highs, prompting calls in several countries including Sierra Leone for retail fuel prices to reflect global market movements more fully.
We're not able to reduce that because we see they put down, we're not able to encourage you for low put you on down. They will put 2 Leones, so they go from the Azak to up go and 10 Leones. We're not able to pull other, we're not able to pull any amount for that 10 Leones day because we see they're pulling, not encouraging.
In a statement posted on Facebook, Minister of Information and Civic Education Sharon Oba said the new prices followed consultations between government and oil marketing companies and were guided by development in international petroleum markets. He said government will continue monitoring global prices to determine whether further adjustments become necessary. For now, the numbers on the screens of fuel stations have changed. Whether that change reaches bus fares, market prices and family budgets remains the question many Sierra Leoneans are asking. Because the true measure of any fuel reduction is not what appears on the pump, it is what remains in the pockets of ordinary people at the end of the day. Maria Matomi, AYV News, Freetown.
Now, according to the World Health Organization, unsafe water, poor sanitation and inadequate hygiene contribute to hundreds of thousands of preventable deaths each year, while increasing the spread of diseases such as cholera and diarrhea. Now, in Sierra Leone, where the rainy seasons often exposes weaknesses in urban sanitation, blocked waterways and indiscriminate waste disposal continue to heighten the risk of flooding and disease outbreaks. Traders at Tumbo Park Market say they are now living with those dangers every day. They are appealing for urgent intervention before an environmental hazard becomes a public health emergency. Our health reporter, Edima Conte, has the details.
Water is meant to sustain life. Here, it carries waste instead. The river flowing beside Tumbo Park Market has gradually become an open dumping ground, where refuse from neighboring communities settles instead of reaching the sea. What should be a source of aid has become a warning. For the traders who earn their living here, the consequences are immediate. Rotten waste has filled the air with an irritating smell. Plastic bottles, household rubbish, and organic waste now clog the waterway, slowing its flow as the rains intensify. They fear that if the river bursts its banks, flood waters will not only destroy merchandise, but also expose thousands of shoppers and residents to dangerous waterborne diseases.
The smell in Kimona, but we not get for the now the girl lives, so we not get option. During rainy season, the water is there for us because the building that surround me, they don't build below sign and so. Even at the day of the last time when rain came, the water flood over, so all people are not able to set. People are not able to set for pass. So this year I get for worse pass every other year because this building and I mean they control the water, but they don't come put building. Because me I decide to they're not able to sell because I get small people and not when the season at the blow I not go sell because of I get small people.
Actually, like when the city don't come, so we water can affect you greatly. because the dirty don't float na the gutter and water no go get free access for making run down. So if every rain come, water they disturb the dirty sabi flop pass through push corner for make the able clear and they go together. Now the main dirty box. Just like cannot be able to tell the actual thing again for happen because it depends on the way rain can because last season rain can even rain can say December and they affect you greatly. But now I'm not able to tell how the season again for look like.
Because we didn't in place even this water because this year we don't want to let this water destroy people themselves. The dirty na the market. The dirty na the market it don't buckle. Lots of disasters they happen now, so we people they don't block the bridge them. Water not they get way for pass so the dirty they can and block the place. Look all over so dirty. Once see that say we put things in place, but not try control this dirty as soon as this market as well.
The United Nations Environment Programme estimates that the world generates more than 2 billion tons of municipal solid waste every year, with at least 1/3 not managed in an environmentally safe manner. In rapidly growing cities across Africa, inadequate waste management continues to compound the impact of climate change, increasing the frequency of flooding and environmental degradation. Sierra Leone has witnessed similar challenges, particularly in densely populated urban communities where drainage systems are routinely obstructed by indiscriminate dumping. The traders say responsibility must be shared. They are calling on the government, sanitation authorities, and surrounding communities to strengthen waste collection, enforce environmental regulations, and intensify public awareness campaigns on proper refuse disposal.
People when they see social media say how this water they destroy markets, they destroy people their money, then the people them any year then they add even that BM side they will go for Kango day. Then they build and they add no more they tight the water not they get away for one again. We don't talk say so one government self put on at least that is flooding. They always think about the entire country. Now we they get the highest flooding right now. We need to go north side, this season need to go north side, we don't get flooding at this market here so. So if you they try for interview me, this is very serious for this water side too. And look the dirty water make a way for passing itself. Then I don't block up the bridge, they don't build it, they don't block it, they will go beyond safe there now like bomber. And which of course the bomber they so. How this they happen so now we they get the effects because the water they destroy they go up.
For those who depend on Tumbo Park markets, cleanliness is not a matter of appearance. It is a matter of health, dignity, and survival. Every blocked drain is a flood waiting to happen. Every bag of refuse cast into the river carries consequences far beyond its weight. As the rains continue to fall, traders hope decisive action will restore the river to what it was always meant to be, not a dumping ground, but a source of life. Edima Conte, AYV News, Tumbo.
Now, the National Early Warning and Response Mechanism Coordinating Center of Sierra Leone has launched the commemoration of its 5th anniversary with the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding with the Independent Commission for Peace and National Cohesion, the unveiling of a new corporate logo, and a renewed commitment to strengthening peace, security, and early warning systems across the country. Well, according to the Minister of State in the Office of the Vice President, Manti Tarali, the center has over the past 5 years produced more than 224 analytical reports, including 19 early warning alerts and 6 situation reports, while also generating over 760 policy recommendations to support timely decision-making and equally prevent action. Samuel Ibrahim Kurama reports.
A symbolic moment as the National Early Warning and Response Mechanism Coordinating Center of Sierra Leone unveils its new corporate logo, reaffirming its commitment to strengthening peace, security, and early warning systems nationwide. Executive Director Frances Numa says the center was established to detect, predict, and communicate emerging risks and hazards, enabling timely and coordinated responses before disaster worsens or conflicts escalate.
Envisaging stronger partnership. We are envisaging expansion in terms of collaboration, in terms of cooperation from the national level to the chiefdom level. We hope to continue to surmount some of the challenges that keep coming our way, that make MDAs or partners not to effectively do the prevention that we have asked them to do.
ECOWAS resident representative to Sierra Leone, Ambassador John Azoma, describes the center's achievements over the past 5 years as a significant milestone in strengthening the regional early warning architecture and promoting sustainable peace across West Africa.
Synchronizes, fits in well with the ECOWAS vision. The ECOWAS vision 2050, which talks about peace, which talks about prosperity, which talks about human security for all of us.
Minister of Planning and Economic Development, Kenya Bale, emphasizes that peace remains fundamental to achieving Sierra Leone's national development aspirations, noting that peace and development are inseparable.
Is central to our development agenda. In fact, we say there's no development without peace, and peace cannot be sustained without development. And so therefore, peace is woven into our medium-term national development plan.
The center, which operates under the supervision of the Office of Vice President, has demonstrated strong vigilance and effective collaboration in advancing human security, says Minister of State Manti Tawali. She highlights the center's contribution in promoting good governance, protecting human rights, addressing crime and criminality, and responding to health and environmental challenges.
Over the past 5 years, Early Warning has produced 225 analytic reports, issued 19 early warning alerts, prepared 6 situation reports, and created more than 760 policy recommendations to support timely decision-making and early response.
As it marks 5 years of service, the National Early Warning and Response Mechanism Coordinating Center continues to position itself as more than a national security institution. It has become a vital pillar of Sierra Leone's peace and security framework and an important contributor to the ECOWAS Regional Early Warning and Response Architecture. Samuel Ibrahim Koroma, AYV News.
The third edition of the Presidential Town Hall meeting was convened in McKinney, bringing together the President, national and regional dignitaries, and local residents for an open discussion on governance and national development priorities. Augusta Ethel Ture report.
Questions from the audience.
Waiting have been done start where they continue for do, where they show servant leadership. Now part of the responsibility we go una the vote for make we lead una, and in leading make sure say life better for una. I want to start by saying that we live in an extremely difficult and complex world today, quite different from waiting we don't use for them. And the breadth of changes where they happen and the rate at which they change there they happen is such that you need a governance system where agile and you move with the pace at which the changes they happen. Otherwise, with society will left here and we not be able to do nothing for wisdom. This will be part today. Now part of the responsibility, because when we alone vote for me, for being a leader, I need to tell when certain things there, explain certain things there, we can be concerned as time they go on. Of course, we found with the journalists that make their own effort to explain. Some man can misinform, some man can misexplain, and some man will take an own way. But coming from the house's mouth, when I know say women in Zeruna, I know they lie, I know they Russia, and they give as our
The meeting brought together regional and national dignitaries as well as Makeni residents. Key concerns including the city's energy challenges raised by Mayor Abubakar Kamara.
I work for coming over the issue of electricity. Makeni don't go 6 months with electricity disruption until the ration. So people foresee the 70% where they contribute to the rich government, that pay and go. That way you pay, they give you charge. They're going to give you electricity. 6 months when they get electricity in the city. It affects me, sir.
Other questions were asked by participants.
Question, as a young person, waiting at the difficulties where you don't face in these 8 years, and also waiting at the successes where you don't get as well.
Mr. President, sir, this road, we see a lot of accidents they take place at this road. This road from Freetown to Makeni becomes of what? The road is narrow, whatever. Series of accidents they take place. So, as the first gentleman in this country, Sierra Leone, we don't know what he gets in store or what he don't put in place for it will actually solving the problem of this series of accidents which will take place on this road.
The session wrapped up with pledges from the president to follow up on the issues raised as government continues its nationwide town hall engagements. Augusta Etel Toure, AYV Primetime News, Makeni.
Now, across the world, rapid urbanization is placing unprecedented pressure on sanitation systems and land management. According to the United Nations, by 2050, nearly 70% of the world's population will live in urban areas, intensifying the demand for sustainable planning and environmental protection. While in Sierra Leone, these pressures are becoming increasingly visible in Freetown, where flooding, indiscriminate waste disposal, and unplanned settlements continue to threaten lives, livelihoods, and public health. It is against this reality that the environmental experts, urban planners, and policy makers and community leaders have gathered for the Clean Freetown Campaign Symposium, seeking practical solutions to build a cleaner, healthier, and more resilient capital. Yera Jallo reports.
Estimated 700 to 800 tons of solid waste every day. Yet, a significant proportion is never formally collected, finding its ways instead into waterways, drainage channels, and illegal dump sites. When the rains arrive, those discarded plastics and debris become barriers that turn streets into rivers. Against this backdrop, Land for Life Sierra Leone and the Media Initiative for Climate Change and the Environment convened the Clean Freetown Campaign Symposium. The gathering brought together government officials, environmental advocates, development partners, and community representatives to examine how effective land management and sustainable urban planning can transform the future of Sierra Leone's capital.
The urban planning approach is very, 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 very poor. It seems like where we plan, not plan like we get multiplied for Wakeup or we get for Pull-Doxy. So we where they live and they deals them. Unfortunately, any doxy we get is just a dump and they rain come with a dump, where then and they shop them at the river, the coastal area. Now we didn't end up on the doxy.
There are law implementers, market women, tribal heads, activists, and people working within ministries, government and non-governmental organizations, CSOs as well, to discuss about sanitation generally in the Western area, both urban and the rural districts. What can be done to ensure that the Western area is clean? So we are looking at land governance and policies, country planning, enforcement of laws, and compliances.
Experts at the symposium caution that poor waste management, rapid urban expansion, and weak land use planning continue to increase Freetown's vulnerability to floods and environmental disasters. Live in informal settlements, many without adequate drainage, sanitation, or waste collection services. These conditions heightening public health risks and expose thousands of families to recurrent flooding during the rainy season.
Emanate from responsibility when they delegate. Freetown City Council from ages. Up to now, we not get planning authority. We know City Council will get an authority for plan Freetown.
For many participants, the responsibility extends beyond government institutions. Environmental protection begins with individual choices. A piece of litter thrown into a drain may appear significant, yet multiplied by thousands, it becomes a flood waiting to happen.
Our responsibility is to enforce the law, and we are ready, we are committed to ensure that we provide the fullest support to the council. I'm not giving you a play in the because they say get a vital way for play. Then they take money from we, they give it, dirty water, then they dirty the country, they get a responsibility for play. And then we don't give it the bylaws. Where that bylaw day, now Parliament don't pass them as a law for this country. But one thing, for make the law and for enforce the law, not two different things.
As the symposium drew to a close, delegates endorsed a series of recommendations aimed at strengthening land governance, improving urban planning, and promoting sustainable waste management. The message was unmistakably: clean cities are not built by policy alone. They are shaped by collective responsibility, sustained political will, and citizens who understand that protecting the environment is ultimately protecting themselves. Yero Jallo, AYV News, Freetown.
Now, around the world, financial exclusion remains one of the quietest barriers to development. The World Bank estimates that around 1.4 billion adults globally remain unbanked, with the majority living in the developing economies. Without access to savings, credit, or formal financial systems, households are often trapped in cycles of vulnerability that limit opportunity and deepen poverty. Now, in Sierra Leone, the challenge is equally stacked. Despite progress in digital finance and mobile money expansion, large segments of rural communities still rely on informal savings groups and high-interest borrowing. However, efforts to widen financial inclusion are increasingly seen not just as economic policy, but as a pathway to digital and dignity and resilience. Now, in Putloko District, a new initiative is seeking to change that story. Our reporter, Issa Bangura, has the details.
So we go 1, 2, 3.
In the courtyard of Putloko District Council Hall, celebrations sounded like hope-giving voice. Women from Putloko and neighboring Cambia gathered in song and dance their rhymes, carrying more than joy. They carried expectation. For many, access to formal financial services has long been distant, separated by geography, income, and opportunity. The occasion marked the official launch of the Sustainable Heritage for Empowered Resilient Ownership, fondly called Shero Cooperative Credit Union, supported by Sierra Leone, Irish Aid, and Turkey.
Today we are planting an institution that is supposed to last. An institution that is supposed to be with the people. An institution that is supposed to be owned by the people. Not because it opens bank account for everyone. Not because it provides loans that we all take to benefit ourselves and to contribute to the community. Not because Shero manages our savings. Those are very important for all of us. But they are not its greatest purpose. Cheryl greatest purpose today is to help ordinary women build extraordinary futures.
The Cheryl Credit Union is designed as more than a financial institution. It is intended as an ecosystem of empowerment. It will offer savings, services, affordable credits, and financial literacy programs targeting communities that have traditionally been excluded from formal banking systems. Development partners say the goal is to reduce dependence on informal lending networks that often carry high risks and unpredictable terms. Globally, cooperative financial models have been recognized by institutions such as the International Labour Organization as critical tools for advancing inclusive growth, particularly for women and rural households.
We say thank you to these organizations for they made the women realize their status in their communities. Now I'm a proud member of my household because of the income I bring and contributions I make to the home. Recently, I was able to save over 1,000 leones in my village saving box.
Speaking at the launch, the country director of Trocare described the initiative as a bridge connecting excluded communities to systems that can transform potential into productivity.
The rule is simple: save, borrow, grow. Now, Cheryl, when I look at it, it means a she-hero. It's a she-hero. So the women are very strong in that, so keep it up.
As Sierra Leone continues to pursue inclusive growth, financial access remains a central pillar of national development strategies. The launch of the Cheryl Cooperative Credit Union reflects a broader recognition that economic empowerment does not begin in boardrooms or policy papers. It begins in villages, markets, and households where savings are small but aspirations are large. For communities in Port Loko and Cambia, this credit union represents more than banking. It represents the possibility that financial systems can finally reflect the people they are meant to serve. Isabangua, Ewevi News, Port Loko District.
Now, hunger is one of humanity's oldest enemies, yet it remains one of the world's greatest injustices. According to the United Nations, nearly 733 million people faced hunger in 2023, while more than 2.3 billion experienced moderate or severe food insecurity. Sierra Leone continues to grapple with this reality. Now, UN agencies estimate that more than half of the population experience food insecurity, while chronic malnutrition continues to affect thousands of children, particularly in rural communities. As these challenges persist, development partners have been working to replace dependency with resilience. In Kenema District, the Nutrition Smart Community Project implemented by World Hunger Earth and its local partner, the Movement Towards Peace and Development Agency, Sierra Leone, has reached the end of its 41-month journey. Stakeholders have now gathered to assess its impact and discuss how its legacy can endure long after donor funding has ceased. Our Eastern Regional reporter Sam Alfalahai reports.
Hunger rarely announces itself with noise. It arrives quietly, an empty plate. A child whose growth is stunted. A mother forced to choose which member of her family eats first. Across the world, malnutrition claims millions of young lives and weakens the future of entire nations. In Sierra Leone, where agriculture sustains most rural households, improving nutrition is not simply a health intervention. It is an investment in human dignity.
The Tonga Feed as an organization stand tall with unforeseen harvest. We self-serve Sierra Leoneans will take on real development challenges.
The Nutrition Smart Community Project was conceived with that understanding. supported by White Hunger Hive and implemented by the Movement Towards Peace and Development Agency MUPADE, Sierra Leone. The initiative sought to confront hunger from its roots rather than merely its symptom. It combined nutrition education with climate-smart agriculture, household food production, hygiene promotion, and community empowerment. The project reached approximately 3,750 households across Dama, Langrama, and Nyawa chiefdoms in the Kenema district, benefiting an estimated 26,250 people indirectly.
Many of them say, when we the city, they will not face out on this project. This is not the end of this particular project. WHF and Mupada will be very pleased that by the time they get for the worker and their communities, then who teach them when they don't teach we, then training them, they continue for the go on.
Stakeholders reviewed successes, acknowledged challenges, and explored ways to preserve the gains already made.
I continue to commend Mopanda and WHH community leaders, but they are very important. They should go and record. Their dedication has contributed to success achieved under this project.
Beyond statistics of those who benefited, our families now cultivating diverse crops and mothers preparing more nutritious meals and communities taking greater ownership of their own well-being.
Nobody will teach me about food diversity for how we will change with diet there.
Nobody will teach me about hygiene. Even me and my community as I tell my son, no one only again what you put that kitchen.
As donor funding interventions draw to a close, funding community ownership must outlast external support because the fight against hunger is not won in conference halls or policy papers, it is won in the resilience of farming families. Samar Falai, AYV News, Kenema, Eastern Sierra Leone.
Well, this is Primetime News on AYV TV and radio. Stay tuned for more stories after the break.
Mutik. This one is for the bold ones. The people who shaped their world and the winners who still put in the work. Cheers to those who start great things. When you start, you're hard to stop. You raise your game and never back down because you're bold enough to make it. To you I say, never stop. Mutik. Never stop starting.
Do you know you can transfer money, buy airtime, and pay all your utility bills in just a minute? You can have access to your account anytime, anywhere. Welcome to the world of fast and easy. GT Wall. With the GT Wall, you can transfer money from one GT Co account to another, pay utility bills, get account statements, get airtime, and check your balance. With GT Wall, you can buy Exa anytime, anywhere. You can go to App Store or Play Store on your iPhone and Android devices, download the app, and enjoy. GT Co. Wouldn't you rather bank with us?
All right, welcome back. I am Marina Terry, and this is AYV's Primetime News. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let's take more stories. Now, climate change is no longer a distant warning. It is a daily reality. The United Nations says extreme weather events have become more frequent and more intense, while the World Meteorological Organization confirms that the past decade has been the warmest on records. Across Africa, rising temperatures, destructive floods, and prolonged droughts are threatening food security, livelihoods, and economic growth. Just yesterday, Tuesday, Accra recorded its largest flooding in almost a decade. Sierra Leone stands among the countries most exposed to these risks. Now, the Notre Dame Global Adaptation Initiative consistently ranks Sierra Leone among the world's most climate-vulnerable nations. In recent years, devastating floods, coastal erosion, Deforestation and sea level rise have displaced families, destroyed infrastructures, and claimed lives. Meanwhile, young Sierra Leoneans have been equipped not merely to inherit the future, but to protect it. Yerojalo reports.
Every generation inherits two things: the earth beneath its feet and the responsibility to preserve it. That responsibility brought together students, environmental experts, policymakers, and civil society organizations to gather at the Miltimagai Technical University, where the youth's Climate Resilience and Environmental Stewardship Training Initiative sought to prepare young people for one of humanity's defining challenges. Over 2 days, participants explored climate science, disaster preparedness, environmental conservation, and coastal resilience, transforming young people to be an ambassador in their community on climate change.
Climate is very much important. As we all know, we have climate issues in Sierra Leone. And majority of Sierra Leone don't know about climate. They don't know what to do about our environment. So environmental care means the responsibility that we have as citizens to protect our environment. Yes, so much. So in my opening, I indicated that participants are going to form climate clubs. They are going to be ambassadors for climate.
The science offers both warning and urgency. Environmental researchers estimate that Freetown has lost nearly 70% of its historic tree cover over the past decades through rapid urbanization, charcoal production, and unchecked deforestation. Addressing the gathering, Minister of Youth Affairs Ibrahim Sano challenged young people to become custodians of Sierra Leone's forests.
Our responsibility stems from now in this hall. How do we talk to each other? How do we pride ourselves to be the champions of climate change?
The Deputy Minister of Climate Change and Environment, Honorable Mimi Yema Soba Stevens, reaffirmed the government's commitment to strengthening climate resilience through partnerships, education, and community participation.
Which says climate change and environmental duty of care. It is not merely a government responsibility. It is a shared duty. Every citizen here has an obligation.
Participants left the program determined to translate knowledge into action within their universities and communities.
The takeaway is that as participants, I've learned that we should manage our waste properly, especially domestic waste. If we manage them, I think it's one of the ways that we can mitigate the effects of climate change in our community.
The greatest forests begin with a single seed. Organizers believe this initiative has planted one in the minds of Sierra Leone's young people in a country increasingly shaped by the forces of climate change. They hope today's students will become tomorrow's environmental leaders, protecting fragile ecosystems, strengthening community resilience, and ensuring that future generations inherit not a wounded landscape, but one restored through wisdom, courage, and collective action. Yero Jallo, AYV News Freetown.
Now, a nation's public service is the engine that turns laws into livelihoods and policies into public trust. When that engine is weak, development slows and confidence in government begins to erode. The World Bank estimates that governments deliver the vast majority of essential public service worldwide, making an effective civil service central to economic growth and social stability. In Sierra Leone, where successive public sector reforms have sought to improve accountability and efficiency, authorities are now taking another significant step. The Public Service Commission has concluded consultations in Kabbalah on a proposed public service bill seeking to ensure that the voices of citizens help shape the future of public administration before the legislation reaches Parliament. Our regional correspondent Ibrahim Sudas Kurma report from Kabbalah.
Commission convened stakeholders at the Kwenadogo District Council Hall in Kabala. The consultation formed part of a nationwide exercise to gather public opinion on the proposed public service bill. Chairman Kalilu Umaruba described the engagement.
We did Kabbalah today on a consultative mission with stakeholders. That includes serving officers, paramount chiefs, local government functionaries, teachers, public officers generally, for discuss the present public service bill. We've been just done past now parliament, law officers, they don't do the draft. Now we come around before this time for get them views in the interest of ownership. Today the bill is there. One can consult with them, exchange views, whether what will be talk 90s or if they get any other observation for me for enrich this bill here.
Sierra Leone proposed legislation seeks to strengthen professionalism, merit-based administration, transparency, and the welfare of public servants, including improvements of retirement benefits and social protection after years of national service.
Talking about public service, we're talking about service delivery and the accountability of the different institutions that sit under government and the services they provide. However, what we bring from Invest Alone is the voices of businesses. These all shape the conditions that each business inside this country.
For 65 years, Sierra Leone don't operate without a public service legislation. A legislation where they guide the public service, a legislation where they coordinate and regulate the public service. Ever in the history of this country, not happened. So for the very first time, we come with a public service bill where we can consult with people.
Traditional leaders also lent their voices to the process. Paramount Chief Baru Masari, the third of Warawara Yagala Chiefdom, welcomed the consultation.
Highly impressed, and I pray that the parliament will see reason for, because this, they don't explain them, this country not ever get law like this. Not only for them now, but for the people of this country, for generations yet unborn.
The consultation brought together paramount chiefs, civil servants, civil society organizations, local authorities, ordinary citizens. Their presence reflected a shared understanding. The public service belongs not to the institution alone, but to every Sierra Leonean who depends upon them. Ibrahim Sudais Kuruma, AYV News, Kabbalah, Northern Province.
All right, now for sport, I have been joined in the studio by Sir Solomon Yomba. Good evening.
Good evening, Marina, and thank you for having me.
What do we have for sports?
First in sports, this evening, the government of Sierra Leone received a partial handover of several refurbished facilities at the National Stadium on 30th June this year, courtesy of support from the Chinese government. Despite this milestone, the public is disappointed over the stalled progress of the main bowl, the centerpiece of the stadium, and the area football fans are most eager to see reopened. Marie Esther Samora has more.
The entire stadium has been under renovation since 2022, with high hopes and expectation among the public for a prompt transformation. Many sports enthusiasts and citizens looked forward to a modern, full accessible facility that could host key national and international competitions. Yet, despite more than 4 years of ongoing work, progress on the heart of the stadium, which is the main bowl, remains empty. In April 2025, the Ministry of Sports carried out an inspection of the facilities, including the main bowl, with their findings documented by AYV. Fast forward to April 2026, drone footage captured by AYV's Victor Jones reveals that work on the main bowl remains at a complete standstill. Public reactions have been mixed. While some appreciate the progress made so far on the practice field, the basketball court, the swimming pool, among others, many Sierra Leoneans have expressed outright disappointment and growing impatient over the unfinished main bowl.
To me, I think now the main bowl more for all focus at for make sure they finish it, because as we see, all of it will make like the football business, it affect players, and especially when the government, that money they take for go pay, for go play a home match with another county, and the minister also will try for put that things in place, because that is more important, because the main ball, it occupy, it bring more fans them, more this. The practice field is good, but it's too small.
If you therefore make the practice field, the main ball in there for don't focus far. You understand? Because it's very important. Even there matches there, okay, also, all the go play now other man country. Not all man get access for go like this, and it affects me. The support and the player, they need that kind of support. We're going to motivate them. They said they're going to say yes to people in there.
All the 90s we watch football in the stadium. So we're not really happy. We the national team, they go out all time for go play some of them games here. Because we believe if some games they live, and how do they play them game then they before they get chance for the win them games then they see them we don't tell you they say 2024 and we don't for make that stadium day. But up till now. 2026 now, up to the make that. So we're not glad, we're not happy. So now the main sign and the way I believe now the first therefore don't make before the practice field. You see, so we wonder why that happened. So government for put on an appellant for finish that main side the way I believe say now we make post game now.
Former Minister of Sport, Ibrahim Yelenke, who is now serving as the National Sports Authority Board Chairman, stated that when he signed the stadium renovation agreement on behalf of the government, he did so under firm assurances from the engineers that the stadium would be upgraded to a state-of-the-art facility.
So when they came, they did the assessment. That's where the money you had today is $40 million. But again, that $40 million, Dr. Tambi tried to convince them. He said, use $20 million to do the renovation. Give us the $20 million so that we can have two stadiums. They said, no, that money is meant for the renovation of the stadium. So after this negotiations arrangement, we had signatories. I signed on behalf of government, they signed on behalf of China. The project itself, according to what the engineer told me, is a 2-year project. They're going to finish the stadium in 2 years. And this issue of seats, I don't want to deliberate on seats, because, you know, if you, the engineer, your statements, you mentioned that it's going to be a state-of-art stadium. And my first submission, I did say the stadium was banned because of the lack of seats. So I think we must show understanding.
Current Minister of Sport Augusta James Tamer has stated that negotiations have now been finalized for the installation of plastic seats. Given the current state of progress, it seems that the full renovation of the stadium will not be completed by the end of 2026. Mariesa Samora, AYV Sports, Freetown.
Now, today ends DR Congo's road in the World Cup as England battled from a first-half deficit to beat DR Congo 2-1 and reach the round of 16, where they will face Mexico. Substitute Gordon delivered both assists in the second half, teeing up Hurricane for a brace, crashing out of the round of 32 on their return to the World Cup for the first time in 52 years. Well, that's all for sport tonight on Prime Time.
Thank you so much, Sir Solomon Yomba, for the update in sports.
You're welcome.
Now, that's all for Primetime News tonight. For more stories, visit our website at www.ayvnews.com. If you have any comments on the news, please send us an email to info@ayvnews.com. I am Marina Terry. Many thanks for watching and listening. Stay safe and do have a good night.
You're watching AYV Television.
With